What up? It's your boy Trey Little Go Crazy, and I'm back with another reaction video. Now, this one's going to be a little tricky today because I am reacting to something political where there is a black Trump supporter and, he still wants to support the president. This video is from a year ago, 2019. I can't remember what month, but it was after Trump said some racist stuff. And basically, they're asking these group of people who are non-Trump supporters and who are Trump supporters, why do they want to support him and why don't they? And like I said, it's very tricky because politics is a thing that a lot of people avoid because it creates this divide and line. But the reason I searched this video up in the first place, for those who don't know, I love fighting for justice. I believe racism is real and alive, and I believe there is discrimination against black people and that we have to fight for Black Lives Matter. But at the same time, I love building money, wealth, and even though I came from the hood, I am someone who wants to learn how to invest in stocks. I've been using Robinhood. Click the link in the description if you want a free stock, by the way, by signing up through my link. We'll both get one. And I own a house now, I'm married, got a kid, and I'm about business. I'm about money. I'm about growing and building, I guess, liquid and building money and breaking the bank, you know what I mean, or making a bank. So I relate to so many different people, but at the same time, I won't sacrifice me wanting money and capitalism over the sake of people, loving people. My goal as getting rich and my voice being as big as it is with over 1 million followers on TikTok is to build wealth to help my city, to bring jobs, bring better education, bring resources, better health into my city. So I have these views, and not a lot of people agree with them. But when it comes against fighting against racism, I don't play about that. Like I don't tolerate that at all. But at the same time, I got a good amount of friends, not a lot, but maybe like a handful of friends who support Trump, and we never really talk about it. So I went on YouTube and I searched up why do people support Trump, because I genuinely want to know. Like I know this is the problem with politics now. We group people into big groups. Oh, you fight for Black Lives Matter. You're someone who wants to terrorize, businesses, and you're someone who wants to break it down, loot, and all that stuff. Or you're someone who doesn't care about family structure, or you're someone this, blah, 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 right? People call me a terrorist. They call me all types of stuff, right? Because I wear a Black Lives Matter shirt. And at the same time, I do struggle with seeing people with Trump hats and stuff like that. That's just me being honest. But at the same time, I'm someone to seek to understand, just because I don't believe that every human being is just intentional on oppression and holding people down. I believe that there are some people, and I come across those people every day on my social media, who are very racist. And I've had to cut ties with people because they didn't want to accept all my blackness. Now, if you support Trump in any way and believe that, you can still be friends with other people like me and accept me and be willing to have me disagree with you, then I feel like that's cool. Like, I don't see nothing wrong with that. Some of my other people might say, Trey, I don't support you. That's whack. You're a traitor. But whatever. I'm not here to please nobody. I'm here to fight for justice and build on my city. So we're going to get into this because I really want to understand why a black guy would support him. Not that I'm going to support him just because this dude is. I just want to know why, because it's easy to be like, yo, all these people that support him are clowns. So I'm going to see how they justify and rationalize this. Let's get it.
The battle for Pennsylvania. So it's a must win, right? President Trump won Pennsylvania by less than a percentage point last time around. And look, you got to pull it off this time, pretty much almost for sure. So how do voters there feel about him right now and those racist tweets?
With these subtitles,
Van Jones was just there today, this morning, and he found out.
Show of hands. Who voted for Donald Trump in 2016? Raise your hand.
Okay.
2. So let me focus
my
on
man.
you.
Hey, my man's was
2.
Like, my man's was like, homeboy on the left, like dude in the green shirt, like me. Who got a problem? Anybody. I voted.
Are you planning to vote for Donald Trump in 2020?
Well, I haven't made up my mind yet whether I was going to vote for him or not. I am leaning more towards him.
I like how he was honest. My bad if y'all hear some noise. I love how he was honest. He said he don't know if he's going to vote for him or not. I love that honesty. Like, he didn't just say, yes, I am. Because I've met some people like, I don't care. Trump is my savior. Anything he do does I agree with him. Like, I love critical thinking no matter what.
Than I am the other candidates right now. The economic situation for me and my business is going very well. So that, you know, economics is a big, important issue.
That's fair. I feel like that's
What
fair.
about you?
Yeah, I am. All this kind of this far left talk is kind of scaring me when it comes to the border.
So let's just address the elephant in the room.
Dang, bro, he went straight in for the gut punch though. All of this talk with the far left. Bro, you didn't have to attack nobody to support. You didn't have to attack nobody to support your views. And that's what my issue. Don't bring nobody else down to talk about why you support what you support and to justify what you believe. We ain't got to tear nobody else down, bro. First of all, that's the first thing I noticed.
You like a young black dude with tattoos and stuff. Why you support Donald Trump, given some of his
Well, you know why.
inflammatory rhetoric?
Yeah, well, I think so. Look, I mean, I was raised in a conservative family, and
Yo, my boy got the waves banging in his head. He looked like he'd be a guy who, you know, like he seemed like he's well educated, seemed like he got money, even though he got the tattoos, got the 360s milking in his head, got the lineup. Like, he still is kind of like uptight because you could tell he got money, which nothing's wrong with it at all. But I can see he seems like a cool guy who went to college, got well educated and stuff, you know.
and I'm in business. I'm a business consultant, and business is great. I don't want to lose that, you know. And I know that, you know, a lot of the rhetoric that comes out of the White House off Twitter is concerning. But putting personal feelings aside, I think that we're having a great economic boom. I mean, people are risking their lives to come here.
How do you size up the
I appreciate the honesty. Like I said, he admitted that some of this stuff is ridiculous and admitted that there is an issue. But he said he admitted that there's an issue, but he also said he got to put his personal feelings aside, which I love his honesty. I can't say I agree with it because, you know, like there's only so much you can turn a blind eye to. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Some situations you got to put your feelings aside, but you have to be willing to weigh if it's worth it or not. But I love how they're being honest, first of all.
this whole thing where President Trump comes out and says to these women, go back to whatever country you came from?
It's a man in desperation. He's desperate.
That's for what?
Clear it up, bro.
The only person he cares about is himself.
Okay.
He rode in on the coattails of Obama. If you think it was any other thing,
Oh, they say he's
you know, you believe in the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus. That's the way I see it.
I don't believe in the Easter Bunny or Santa Claus.
Almost everyone has.
Bro, he just roasted my man. He just roasted my man. He said, "You believe in it?" He compared him to the Easter Bunny or Santa Claus. That was crazy.
A story of being told go back to your country, and I think that it's kind of like one of the oldest, you know, tricks in the book. When it comes to phraseology, maybe outside of the N-word, that comes to mind when you're talking about racist language.
I've had people when I moved into Pennsylvania said, "Oh, you're a New Yorker. Why don't you go back to New York where you belong?" Well, you know, those are just human emotion remarks, and people.
I appreciate what Homeboy trying to do. He's trying to compare his issues to like what people face during race, and it's not the same thing. Like, I would have appreciated him more if he would have been like, "Yeah, that was wrong. He shouldn't have said that. That was messed up." Like, I would appreciate if he was more honest about it versus trying to compare himself as, you know, a white man to people telling him to go back to New York, to, you know, some black women being told go back to Africa or go back to their country. Like, it's not the same thing at all. Like, you know, but I think he's just trying to justify everything, which, like, I get it. You vote, you know, you follow somebody, you vote for him, and you don't want to seem silly for supporting this, but at the same time, you don't want to feel like you can come out and be honest. Because if he comes out and be honest about it, then that's going to make him feel silly for voting for him. But at the same time, I would respect him being more honest. Like, this was messed up. He shouldn't have said that. And I'm choosing to overlook that for the sake of this. I would have respected that a lot more than just comparing himself as a white man and that experience to go back to New York, because it's not the same thing. You know, like, you can't change skin color or a certain culture or heritage. You know what I mean? Like, no matter where you go, but you can change an accent or you can, you know, learn a language or something like that.
People are frustrated, and they are frustrated. And he's frustrated from the very beginning. They have attacked him, his family, his wife, his kids.
Hey, my man's to the right looking like, hey, he looking like, bro looking like he like, yeah, all right. But I don't know. It seems like homie with the green shirt is speaking more for my man's with the blue. But I get it. Like, that comment might have came out of desperation, but it don't give you the right to make those kind of attacks. Like he could have roasted them in another way that would have been more appreciative. But making it about going back to your country, that's too far. You know what I mean? But I get it. He's trying to understand and empathize. Like, he's tired, you know, all this stuff. So, but it don't give you the right to say that kind of stuff.
It's disgusting. It really is.
I just go back to values.
Okay, so look, and like, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to attack just the Trump supporters. Like, I'm just reacting to like what I see, and this is just one video. I'll react to more of these if I can. He said it's disgusting how they're attacking Trump, but won't admit that it was disgusting what he said back. If he would have said that, I would have respected that a lot more. You know, listen, there's people who march for some of the groups that I march with, and I don't agree with what all them dudes say. Some of the dudes who call me a pig lover because I don't believe in abolishing Detroit police. Now, Minneapolis, their policing system seemed to be very corrupt to let all that ride and have Derek Chauvin still out here with all these complaints against him. Now, that I can't speak on. Now, that seemed like a very terrible policing system that I feel like needed to be rebuilt. I don't condone how they tore it down, but I don't think that I could have support policing in. I think it's case by case. I couldn't support policing in Minneapolis or whatever. But in Detroit, some people call me whack for not wanting to abolish the police here when, you know, we got dudes going crazy with AKs and Dracos and like going wild. You know what I mean? And I got a family and I can't deal with all that on my own. So we either need a big group to support that, or we need police, not military, but we need police to police these things. Like, they be finding bazookas and I grew up in the streets. I know a lot of people who out here, I ain't gonna say too much, but I know a lot of the people who do stuff. So all I'm saying is that we do need policing, just because I know how the mentality is. And if you caught on the other end of violence, and it will go bad. Like, it will go bad. But at the same time, my point is I got people coming at me and calling me soft from the same group that I'm marching with. Like, you know, Black Lives Matter or whatever. Some of the people call me soft because I don't want to abolish the police in Detroit. But I don't got to agree with them to still fight for the same cause. You know, I just don't want to spend time fighting each other because it'll take away from the main cause. But I could be honest and say I don't agree with everything and support everything and call out when something's whack. You know what I mean? And I think that's what people need to do. I've had situations here in Detroit where some of the same people I was marching with and protesting with did some stuff, and I felt like it was whack. Like, they shouldn't have did it, you know? So I think it's just being honest and transparent.
I value treating people with dignity, and if there's anything that is incongruent with those values, then I'm not for that. And so I'm not going to put profit over my values.
Come on, sis. Auntie. There we go, Auntie. That's a good point. It's not just about profit. And that's a huge reason why a lot of people who are social justice advocates don't really rock with Trump supporters or Republicans, because they feel like the profit is more important as capitalists and sucking dry resources from other places. You look at things like the diamond trade, the coffee trade. You look at different things like redlining in inner city communities, meaning that, you know, black people couldn't move here or white people could. You look at things historically where white people were getting loans to move certain places, but black people were denied. You look at things like segregation where black people could only live here, but then when you also had Black Wall Street was tore down by a group of racist white people, you know, and that was all for profit. I believe that working to get rich and have money, that's fair game. Let's get it. Let's go get the bag. Let's do this. Let's create some businesses, build wealth, but don't tear nobody else down for you to profit. There has to be a way to do that. Imagine if our country got together and said, I'm not going to tolerate a president that only wants to benefit, you know, the rich or this group of people and not benefit the poor. Imagine if we all got together and stuck together through that to say, listen, I love wealth, but I also love fighting for justice. If Trey Little become a millionaire, or not even a millionaire, if Trey Little start making, you know, $500,000 a year and he opened up a rec center in Detroit on the east side or west side, I'm about that. I'm about taking capital gain and giving back to people in need as well. Keeping some for myself, look fresh, get some ice, travel, vacate, but looking out for the people in need at first. I went to a mission trip in Haiti, served, put in some work, helped build a hospital, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I'm out protesting and doing all this stuff. Like, I'm about building this, but also using that to look out for the people in need. And not people who just want to sit around and make excuses and complain about, the white man or the government. Those people, I can't help those people, but there are some hardworking people in the hood who ain't about killing, stealing, violence, and robbing. And we can't overlook those people just because we say, oh, well, they live in Detroit and everybody who live in Detroit is bad. We can't overlook that. We can't overlook my cousins who grew up in the hood seeing homicides but say they want to get out of the streets. We can't overlook that. We got to be willing to get into the mess. It's easy to just pick a side, but you have to be willing to get in between those layers and put in the work. And a lot of people ain't about that. They feel like they just want to say, oh, I'm going to vote left, right, vote this, do this, and just, that's it. No, you got to be willing to get into those layers and peel them back. It's going to take work, but we're human beings, and this thing is going to keep running rampant. Violence is going to get worse. Racism going to get worse if we don't continue to peel back these layers.
Your values?
That would be a yes.
Look, I
That would
think
be a
Hey, look. See? He trying to change the subject. Auntie almost got, bro, by the way, you got to respect Auntie, bro. Don't disrespect Auntie. You still black. She's a black elder. Anyways, he kind of choked up a little bit, but, I'm going to see what he got to say, though.
I think that this go back comment hit a lot of us that support him.
Just don't change the subject, bro.
It hit a lot of us in the gut, and I think that the president is putting a lot of us.
Cuz my man's with the Hawaiian shirt, though. Cuz, I had enough of dog,
in a very precarious situation. I think the president has a base, and he has a far right-wing base. And there's a lot of white nationalists, a lot of racists, a lot of anti-Semites in that base.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do,
bro, thank you for being honest. I respect that. Thank you, man.
is I am going to have a PR strategy that is going to rile up the base. And so I feel like, a lot of us feel like,
Ooh,
wow,
homie look
where
nervous.
do we fit in?
Homie looked nervous to the left. He shoot. Look, because homie with the green shirt didn't want to be honest, and dog with the blue shirt was being honest. And I think, man, I got to know that. Oh, you know what? Let me get their names because it's not. I'm calling him dog with the blue shirt. Whatever. It might make for better commentary. But the gentleman with the blue shirt was being honest, and the gentleman in the green shirt started looking like he was getting nervous. If you play it back when he was talking, but no, you got to be honest. Look.
Wow, where do we fit in?
See,
anymore?
look,
Are we still welcome in this movement? Are people of color still welcome? So a lot of us are still reeling from that comment. And I will tell you, a lot of my friends that are black conservatives, a lot of them have jumped off the Trump train. They've gone over to Kamala Harris's side. They've got involved in her campaign, and also Joe Biden's, certainly here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Oh, that was an incredible conversation.
That's real. Yeah. Yo, that's some real stuff.
So he's saying a lot of his friends have gotten off, not just conservative, onto not just off the Trump train, but onto someone else's train.
Other things.
But amazing that he's saying, I'm not sure if I'm welcome here, and if anyone of color is welcome, but he's still voting for him as of now.
Yeah, listen, I don't think I understood until I got there.
Yo, this is
the way
good.
This thing has landed like a bomb. This for those kinds of Trump voters. Trump voters should basically, he said, look, I'm a business guy. My business is going great. I don't want to change. I'm scared if we
Right,
go.
I'm an economic voter, is what he's saying.
I'm an economic guy, but I'm African American. And this last round has pushed some of his fellow black conservatives away. And so I think we got a lot going on here in these swing states. I want to go back.
I need to follow him online. So what I will say is this, y'all. Look, as a black guy, and this is me getting a little personal. This is really real, and I think this is going to help some people. I got off the streets, lost my dad to gun violence when I was 4, lost my stepdad. And I started my spiritual journey because I was trapped in the streets and it was bad, so I was looking for something else, right? I started going to a church where the pastor was very conservative, very Republican, which I didn't see no issues with at the time as a black man. And it was just focus on God, focus on Jesus, don't think about racism, it's not real. And I'm I was young, gullible, impressionable, and getting off the streets, I'm I'll do anything that's not compromising my values and myself to get off these streets and stop seeing people throw their lives away. It was terrible, the stuff I had to go through. I had death threats, people saying they're going to take all this stuff, right? I'm like, anything I can do to get out of this. And I started my spiritual journey. And then basically I wanted to get out of that. And I was vulnerable, and people were treating me with so much racism, you know, saying things like black sit in the back, no black people allowed, black devil, like all these different racist things. And I thought I was the issue because I wanted to just find God in a way that I was saved. And I didn't know much about racism, because when you growing up in the hood, we be so focused on surviving and not losing our life that, you know, we don't really think about racism as much. And that's like from what I've noticed from me and my family and stuff. But I was vulnerable, and all this racism was being taken out on me, but I was the only one who wasn't laughing at these jokes. I was the only one not laughing, so I felt like it was my fault. And this is what happens when you forget about your culture, you forget about who you are, you forget about being black, and you try to fit in. I get it. You want to fit in, you want to be a part of something, but you got to remember you are a black man. That's the thing. On my way to church one time, everybody loved me at this church, but I got pulled over by a cop, thrown in the back seat, car searched for guns and drugs on the freeway on my way to the suburbs. And I'm like, you don't understand. I'm on my way to a church. I got these 2 kids I'm mentoring. People love me at this church. I love God. Man, that cop did not care. And don't get me wrong, I love a lot of the cops in Detroit. I'm cool with the chief, you know, in Detroit, the chief of police and all that. So I'm not blaming cops. I'm just saying that specific cop and that specific group of cops in that area who let that ride and didn't hold him accountable. He like, I don't care how innocent you are. I don't trust you. And I couldn't change it. I wanted to, y'all. And this is me telling all my conservative followers and viewers. I wanted to so bad to fit in and believe that there was nothing different about me from the color of my skin. I tried it for years. I tried it, and it did not get me nowhere but feeling insecure, feeling like I was the problem because I wasn't aware enough to understand that there was these systems and these viewpoints. So all I'm asking people to do is just be honest. Just be honest with yourself. Hold yourself accountable. Hold your party accountable. Be honest. If you don't like us because you don't understand us, fine. Be honest. Separate yourself from us and make it clear. But don't try to accept a few black people take them in and say, if you don't speak up about this, we'll accept you, until you start speaking up against racism, then we can't support you no more. Be honest. Be honest. That's all, you know. And I feel like y'all will get so much more respect. If y'all can talk about race issues, even if it's a disadvantage, if y'all can lose some money because y'all stand up for something that was wrong, I would respect that. Just be honest, y'all. The fakeness, man, like, that's it. And my brother, like, props to you, bro, for trying to do your thing, man. Like, maybe there's another way. I know I'm new to politics. I don't understand it that much, but I hear that there are third options that you can choose. Like, you don't have to just pick, you know, Hillary or Trump, whatever, right? There has to be more options, man. Like, there has to be something that we can do. But I think as long as we're alive and have to live with each other, we have to be transparent, honest, and figure this out, unless you're one of those person that say, I'm a black person and I want to be super pro-black, super Afrocentric. I don't want nothing to do with white people. That's fine. I've had people tell me that because I'm in a biracial relationship or marriage, like, that they don't want anything to do with us. And I'm like, fine. Thanks for letting me know, because now I know not to come pulling up with, you know, over there with my wife, or, you know what I mean? Thanks for letting me know. And if there's some white people who would be like, yo, I don't want nothing to do with blacks. I don't trust y'all. Like, all right, cool. Thanks for letting me know. Now I ain't got to waste my time. Let me grab my ribs, get up out of this cookout or this barbecue or whatever, backyard bash, whatever, and I'm out. I'll hop right back in my car and dip, you know? Like, thanks for letting me know. That's all I'm asking y'all. It's that simple. As long as we have to live with each other, we got to be honest and stop taking it out on each other, man, because it's a bigger issue. We're still humans, and we're people at the end of the day. So if you're going to get the bag, but don't sacrifice people's lives for the sake of getting the bag, because I wouldn't do that. If something's wrong, and we need to be willing to speak out. Let's get it.